no puedes abrir los ojos. ¿Dónde estamos? Here I am, in Italy. So we just arrived in the Dolomites. Gonna spend a couple of days here. We are in a place called Castel Roto. And we came to an hotel that is no more than healthy food, saunas, gym, and of course skiing or snowboarding. I never know how to say it, but I guess snowboarding. And yeah, you guys probably know by now that everything that it's about sports, it's my kind of thing. So surfing, skate, snowboarding. I'm now in that moment that I need to decide which path I want for this company. And I have two very clear paths at the moment. I keep doing as I'm doing, which is bootstrapping and just basically growing with the cash flow that we have at the moment. So we are forecasting this year to do 6 million or close to 6 million. And that would be basically self-finance. So just keep growing with the existing apps, launching new apps, and basically like with the profitability that the apps are giving, basically how much cash in I have, I reinvest, and that's basically the growth that I have, right? Because I'm investing more and more in marketing and user acquisition. But the thing now is that I'm in that moment that I need to decide which kind of company I want to run. And when it comes to that specific business model, which is subscription-based, the big challenge is cash. So cash flow is what's kind of stopping me to grow faster. So I'm now in this moment that I'm starting to explore the possibility to open a financial round. And that's basically what's going to happen in the coming days here. So what I wanted is to get away a little bit from the day-to-day of the office, stay in a place where it's all about being healthy. For sure I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare a pitch deck. And then I've been chased by so many investors since I quit Google. I guess they have this thing on LinkedIn that when someone from like the companies that they're interested is quitting or like leaving the job, leaving the company, and if they just put that they're on a startup or they're building something, they go and reach out. So the last 6 months, it's been quite hectic. I've been receiving like inbound messages from all kind of VCs from Spain and international. All of them thought that was really early stage. So the big surprise for them was that it's not a company that it's starting in that way. It's a company that is already like the proof of concept. It's been there, so it's having revenue. But some of them they kept contacting and they want to like keep basically the communication. So I've been chatting with them for the last 3 months on a bi-weekly basis and just informing how the business is going. And it's not just about VCs, right? I'm also exploring factoring and other options of financing the business. So that's basically what's gonna happen in the coming days. I'm starting to have the first line of managers in the companies, which is the first time for all of them to be managers. I'm not just super proud for them, but I'm super happy to see how is it going so far. Of course, they are super motivated. And it's giving me that peace of mind that I can leave the office and focus on these kind of important decisions time to time. So yeah, I'm probably in the happiest moment since I started this project, which I mean, it's quite easy to say, right? In the beginning of a project, everything is so hard. So it's still the same intensity, but maybe with not so much pressure right now, because not everything is relying on me. So that's actually putting away pressure on me. So yeah, and I'm super fortunate of the team I have. So thank you, team, if you are watching this, and that's the reason why I can allow myself to be in the Dolomites. And stop talking for now because I cannot do two things at the same time. So I'm gonna focus on put this on the board.
Waitress are dressed like nurses in bondage. Brought me the check, said I want you to sign this. Union boy standing next to the rafters. There's gonna be a
In the Dolomite with a little Belen. I don't know how to say it in English. Merry Christmas. One Aperol Spritz. Per favore. Finito. Què ha passat?
Reservati per el cumpleaños de la meva Pinchins Pinchins. ¿Eh?
Es mentira, podrido, eres un mentiroso.
¿Qué tal tu cumple?
Tu mejor cumple ever.
¿Estás happy?
Estoy muy happy porque como que no me doy cuenta que es mi cumple y así me gusta.
Don't say that you don't understand. Don't say that you can't comprehend. Don't say that you don't understand. This is California Babylon, my man.
Somos unos guarros que vamos descalzos porque no nos hemos traído chanclas.
No sé si es muy buena idea enseñar mis pies.
Hay zero visibility.
Zero
Visibility.
Uy, no sé si puedo grabar porque de repente va a salir alguien.
Que van desnudos aquí. Cierra.
Charlotte no me ha dejado grabar en la sauna.
¿Por qué va la gente desnuda?
Now time to work a little bit. I'm gonna have a call with David from Achos, which is the guy that I introduced in previous videos already, and the one I'm working with for my website. Oye, oh wow, qué guapo tú. De hecho, mira, te voy a presentar, porque mira de dónde estás en directo, tío. Voy a sacar esto. No te pongas nervioso, ¿eh?
No.
Pues este es David, os he hablado de él varias veces, ahí lo tenéis, el artista. Vale, esta es la versión mobile.
Esta es la versión mobile, sí.
Vale, espera,
Vale.
lo abro desde el móvil mejor entonces. So, we had so many ideas of how to represent the website. We started with the idea of representing myself as an operating system, which makes sense in a way. It's what I do. Most of my companies are, well, actually all my companies are technological companies and doing stuff on the internet. So that's basically how it's looking, you know? So if you open the website, it's gonna bring you to that kind of OS that looks iPhone. Some of the apps here. And yeah, that's pretty much for now. So yeah, moving forward with the website. And I hope we have something finalized in the coming 2 weeks. I must do a confession. Well, I must confess. I have a certain addiction to graphs. I love them. I guess it makes sense because my background is on data science. So basically we presented the OKRs for Q1, which that's basically how we drive the business on the most healthy way possible. And we have for the 2 squads. I fucking love it. So thank you, Sergi, for that. It's a fucking masterpiece. So as a company level, I'm kind of deciding the strategy for this year, and then we deep dive or we double click on that strategy with what we call OKRs, which is of course quite common, and I learned it in Google. Our priority at the moment is not just doing things, but just doing things that will multiply. So that's going to help them also to have that fast response on the initiatives and actions that they suggest, which I'm giving them full autonomy on that, which in the beginning was hard, but now as the teams are ramping up and I start to have some managers and people that probably knows more than me on their field, they have full autonomy of which are the initiatives, experiments, or suggestions for that. So like they have full autonomy on that. And my way to kind of connect their autonomy with my desire as a founder, or like basically where the company should go, is the OKRs.
Zero visibility. How amazing. If anyone is listening, trust me, just take a piece of paper and write down what you want to achieve. And believe it, like behave as it happened already. And I promise it's gonna happen. 5 years ago, I founded Carrots. 3 years ago, I bankrupt. I was planning to leave Google already, and I had to like step back, find the motivation to stay in Google for a couple of more years, and founded Carrots 2.0. And now I'm having the best team I can possibly have. I'm having apps that I'm super proud of. I founded 2 more companies, I invested in 3 more, and I can allow myself to be in a place like that, which when I was a kid I was going to ski with my mom. Sometimes I was not having the money to pay for the tickets, so I had to go in the afternoon and just ask the French people living the slopes if they could give me the day pass. And now look where I am, like lost in the middle of the Dolomites in a vegan hotel that they just serve like super healthy food, working in the morning, skiing in the afternoon. I mean, it happened. I projected that, I promise, I projected that. And I'm gonna keep projecting, for sure. So this little, oi, slippery, oh shit. Oi! Okay, let's start again. So this beautiful place that you see, of course that's not advertisement, not getting shit, I just paid money for it. But I'm happy to promote it because it's a magical place. It's called Paradiso. It's next to Castel Roto in the Dolomites. And it's a family that the mom became vegan and then the 2 sons decided to turn vegan. And they have the best food that you can imagine, all day, all night. I was chatting with Julia, the product manager of Gala, and we can confirm that we find a way to reduce the CPA for Google Ads when you're in these moments that you have an app that has been running campaigns for a while and you're driving decent volume, but you are stuck on either increasing volume or reducing CPA. The specific case for this app, and putting here in brackets that we are doing signal engineering, so we are doing something quite sophisticated when it comes to what information we share to Google and which one not. So that's kind of like giving us less automation and less Google bot, and it's more basically in our control what we share and what we don't share. But basically the situation with the app is that we could increase more volume, but it was lacking on CPA. So basically when we're increasing volume, like CPA was like increasing much faster than volume. So to a point that was making the payback period too long for us. So what I did is that you have 2 options. You either increase budget with keywords that you know that will not sacrifice the cost per install, because what you need is volume, so that you have as much volume as possible with the same keywords, which was not my case. Like when I was increasing the volume with existing keywords, the CPI was also increasing. Or you stay on top of trends and you find specific keywords that are in a way new and are driving so much volume. And when you catch on these keywords, what's going to happen is that you will have a boost on volume by bidding on these keywords. CPA is going to be the same that you have or even lower, sometimes much lower. Doesn't really mean that that keyword has the same intent that the keywords that you are currently bidding. So that could potentially be that the CPA is going to go up. So, but that's fine. What you want is to drive, like to have like kind of a boost of traffic to the account of Google Ads. And then afterwards, like once you have it, like in my case, it's for a couple of days,
maximum, then you reduce the volume. And by doing that, magically, I'm gonna show you. That was basically the situation for Gala, right? So we were stuck on the 20s for the CPA, it's the orange line, and driving around 200 purchases, so subscriptions per day. Then what we did is that we find a trend that was actually ChatGPT launch, or like someone made quite trendy, the caricature thing of ChatGPT, which is that with ChatGPT, basically you can do caricatures. And by bidding on that keyword, what we did is that we had a massive boost on spend. We actually did 5x on spend, which you cannot see it here because you only see the number of payers. So it doesn't really reflect on this graph, but actually I can show you. Here you can see, so we jumped from being on 3K, 4K investment to 10K investment. And by doing that, what happened is that the CPA went up. So yeah, like it was really bad days in terms of profitability, but that's not what we wanted to get. And then we had like that red line, which is that the CPA got on the 30s, from the 30s, so like 10 euros more per user acquired. And then what we did is that after these 2 days of massive trend catching on that trend, then we reduce basically the breach on keywords by basically changing some of the keywords from broad to exact. Some of the keywords that we had on caricatures, we remove them because we're not profitable. Like they didn't have the intent that we want for Gala. And what happened is that now we are on a trend that we are spending more than before. So like we have more volume than when we were on the orange line. And with a beautiful CPA around 17, 16 euros per user acquired. So magically, Google understood or like found which is basically our target audience, and it's now driving much better performance. So, of course, this is not tips. Like, you just need to test for your app. Like, it's not the same for all the apps, right? But what I can guarantee is that after being 8 years in Google is that not everything that the account managers are telling you is right. Well, I'd say I'm not going to be bad with them, but by default, it's not right. They are basically incentivized by their targets, which is not your benefit, is for their benefit. And they won't tell you that. So like they won't tell you that by doing these kind of things, you will be able to like reach this CPA. And the way that I explain it is that imagine it that way. We've been running campaigns with that specific setup for like 2 months now. It's like in 2 months with the signal engineering that we were doing, which basically we found our perfect audience for Gala. We were in a massive ocean. We were like fishing in a tiny bit of that ocean, right? Which is, or like tiny bits of that ocean, which is basically where that target audience that we found with doing signal engineering was giving success for us. So like was basically the target audience that we wanted for Gala. What happened is that when you are there for like 2 months, you are stuck, so that you cannot expand that field in which you are fishing, right? So by doing that massive boost, so like this 3-4x on spend from one day to another, what does is that boom, you're amplifying basically the reach, fishing around most parts on that big ocean. And then by reducing, what you're doing is that you are capturing more tiny bits of that ocean that are giving the target audience that you want. So like these boosts on volume are super important, but it can be very costly if you don't do it right? So our way to do it, that we can have that boost on spend, but it doesn't affect us so much, is stay on top of trends. And when we find that specific keywords that we will know that's gonna give massive volume at lower CPA, we bid for them. And that's basically how, like in scales, we keep growing, scaling the campaigns without sacrificing the CPA. I don't know if that was clear, but it sounds clear to me.
Crazy with this thing. Don't you know I'm loco?
¿Todo bien? ¿Todo bien? ¿Estás bien?
No.
One tip to all the people on the 30s, you're not 20 anymore.
I'm not 20 anymore.
Está bien, hay que caerse, ¿no?
Hay que caerse, si no te caes es que no te lo estás pasando bien. Me están helando los dedos.
Mira cómo va mi novio.
Se me han roto
Se ha
los
comprado
guantes.
unos guantes nuevos y mira qué bien.
Están rotos. Pero
De
los
las
dos.
dos manos.
¿Dónde vamos ahora?
¿Parque?
Parque de Kids. Now Charlotte's turn.
Ahora se llama Easy Line, no Kids Line.
Okay, easy line for Charlotte. Let's go. ¡Ole! In Spanish or English?
English.
So,
¿No le tienes que hablar a la cámara?
¿eh?
¿No le tienes que hablar a la cámara?
Maybe.
¿Por qué no nos cuentas lo que te ha pasado hoy?
¿Qué quieres que les cuente? So, I wanted to do some drone shots and I went off piste. I was going between trees and there was so much snow that I got completely trapped, like snow till my neck. It felt like 30 minutes, maybe it was like 10 minutes to get out of that. Then I decided to like fly the drone. But then I lost it, so then I had to like walk with like so much snow for like 20 minutes until I found the drone. But then I couldn't land it because the drone was kind of detecting the snow. I couldn't land, I was kind of like pushing to land but was not landing, so I decided to grab it on there. And I got big cut on my finger. So yeah.
And you left a big trail of blood all the way down the mountain.
Blood everywhere, and then it took me like another 30 minutes to find the piece because I was a little bit lost. And I decided to do jacuzzi because I'm very tired. Okay, so I just finished the slides, the pitch deck. I wasted some time just going through internet and just looking at other companies' pitch decks and kind of the best practices, competitive advantage with other players in the market, what's the competitive landscape, your team, financials, the amount that you're asking for the financial round and how you will use that money. But then I just decided to like go a little bit freestyle, and what I did is no more than 15 slides. I think it needs to be like a very short presentation. And what I did is like in the first slides, just going through all the questions that I know that they have, so that we can fix this very soon. Then I see if they are interested or not. If we check all the boxes, then I show the DNA of what makes us very different in the market. And I want to share something which is, it could be coincidence, I don't know, but it's fun that at the moment that I share the deck with the team, like 1 minute later, I went to LinkedIn and I saw an invitation to connect from an investor in Left Lane. So basically, he's saying, let's cook together. Please feel free to pick any slot which works for you here. And then the most important, we love consumer stuff at the Left Lane and invest between 5 to 50 million per stage. That's the first time that I see from a VC that they're investing on B2C and consumer stuff, which is basically what we do. And they have the amount of millions that we need for that financial round. So that guy's gonna be the first one to see my pitch deck. I'm gonna go get my boards and pack, and we call it a trip. It's over.
Uh-oh.
But it's too late. It's too late. She's gone. You sweater, and I ain't talking about a Cool J. You a big L, and I ain't talking about Cool J. See me at the airport, at least 20 Louis. Treat me like the prince, and it's my sweet brother, say. Groupies say I'm too choosy. Take them to the show and talk all through the movies. Said she want diamonds, I took her to Ruby Tuesdays. If we up at Fridays, I still have it my way. Gone.
We strive at home.
Gone.